Microsoft has revealed cyber attacks targeting companies involved in researching vaccines and treatments for COVID-19. How disgraceful. And how safe is our software in New Zealand, our healthcare software in New Zealand? Joining us now is futurist and Gorilla Tech CEO Paul Spain. Paul, g'day. Good morning.
Good morning.
So they're targeting the vaccine companies?
Yeah, so there's been a raft of these attacks around the world, and you know, we would like to think that that this isn't the sort of thing that would go on, but
who's doing it? Is it governments?
It seems to be individual countries are involved in this, and Microsoft have called out Russia and North Korea.
Yep.
But possibly there are others involved as well.
So how would that operate then? So if you're in Russia or North Korea, so you're there with their GCSB or whatever, their SIS or their leader, and they're out there trying to get what, an IP or?
Well, there are these entities that exist within those countries, and no doubt in other parts of the world as well, who are state either embedded within government organisations or external and funded by the state.
Yes.
And so they'll have varying goals, whether it's to get the intellectual property, whether it's to disrupt what's going on. But this is the sort of thing that is really unfortunate at a time like this when we're in a global pandemic, and it's not only those that are developing the vaccines and developing medicines. We're seeing it really hit a lot of hospitals.
Well, we could do without
hundreds
this.
of them in the US that have been hit, and ransoms in some cases that are over 15 million New Zealand dollars.
Could it set back the vaccine development? I mean, what does it do to a company if they get hit?
Well, it has the potential to do that. Any organisation that's hit with these things, often they will grind to a halt to one degree or another. We've certainly heard about hospitals in the US where the doctors are walking around with clipboards, not able to draw on all of the data that's in their computer systems because that's actually been locked down. So they're back to old school methods, and that has the potential to cause loss of life.
The Chinese are big at this, aren't they? Why? Why is it always out of China and Russia?
Well, these two have been North Korea and Russia that have been mentioned specifically, and certainly we know from past incidences that Russia has been known to be trying to, I guess, suck up the intellectual property and the smarts from other countries.
Cheating.
Look, if a country feels quite comfortable, doing that at one time, what's going to cause that to change? So that may well continue.
So if New Zealand companies are concerned about this, just get all the software, get all the defence systems in place.
Well, there's a lot of processes involved, and I think in New Zealand we've got our larger entities that have been around a long time, our health boards and PHOs, the primary healthcare organisations. Often they're running on quite old systems, and to modernise those things is actually a really big deal. It takes a long time. So that's something as a country we need to keep working at and moving forward.
Yes.
And it is challenging when we have financial issues within that sector anyway, where there are insufficient budget. So more needs to be spent, and then the smaller organisations need to pay more attention, and that's a challenge because they're effectively trying to run small businesses.
Yes.
And deal with the basics of that, as well as cybersecurity.
They may not have the budget for it. Gorilla Technology and CEO and futurist Paul Spain. Appreciate